Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Digital Data Podcast. I'm your host, Cecilia Maundu. I'm a broadcast journalist. I'm a digital security trainer. I work at the intersection of technology, journalism, and human rights with a focus on countering online abuse against women journalists, women politicians. And today, our series still continues. This series have made possible by our friends, in partnership rather, by our friends from the amazing Siasa Place. Siasa Place promotes people's participation in democratic processes through research, trainings, civic education, networking, and strategic partnership. So we've been interviewing women, young women, extremely young women, politicians who vied for last year's general elections. And we just want to know how was their experience, what more we can do on the digital platform for them, and also how we can support their work in this democratic space. So my guest will have an opportunity to introduce herself. Welcome so much. Thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Thanks for having me. It's such a great opportunity to be here and speak on the experience that we as young women in politics went through. My name is Wanjiko Thega. My ground knows me as Keretu Karutiwira.
Please translate that for us.
Yeah, in translation, that means the hardworking young girl, which I am. And I am... I'm a youth and women's rights leader across Kenya. I ran for office at Kiambu County in Juja constituency, a ward called Theta Ward, and through the party of Chama cha Kazi. I'm also convening 20 CSOs in Kiambu County at the moment. We are called KISANET, standing for Kiambu Social Accountability Network. We are funded by the EU, and the lead applicant was CAS, which is a great opportunity to keep our elected leaders at bay, with transparency and making sure that they are really doing the job that they promised people they will do. I also sit at the National Women's Steering Committee, which is convened by Crown Trust. I'm happy that this year the ED was gazetted to sit to be the co-chair of the 2/3 Gender Role Multi-Agency Working Group. So this is something that I've really donated my time to. I think this is the 7th year fighting for the 2/3 gender cause in Kenya, and I'm happy that there's really goodwill with this government to see 2/3 gender role achievements finally here with us. And I also lead the African Women Leaders Network as the Young Women Caucus as the lead for political participation and governance. So this is our regional network across Africa to see women, but for me, more particularly young women at the fore, because we have intersectional issues when it comes to women. We have senior women and young women, and we both go through different kind of issues. They are same, but at some point, it becomes intersectional. Yeah.
So let's talk about the thorny issue, the 2/3 gender rule. Why do you feel, in your own opinion, why do you feel that we are yet to achieve it after many years talking about it? I feel sometimes Kenya has become a talk shop when it comes to that topic. So what is lagging us behind from achieving it?
I think, first of all, it's the mechanism that has been used in Parliament to pass the 2/3 gender role bill. And that's why it has been elusive for some while for us. And I'm happy that this time around we are using a mechanism that is going to see it go through, and we're passing it as an omnibus bill. This means it's going to go in with the CDF issue. And CDF it's never meted with any type of upinganizi. It just goes and passes. But when you speak about 2/3 gender rule, people always think about it's only about women. But when we say gender, it has more than one gender being on the table. So anytime it's placed, people feel like, this is the issue, or mama, this is the issue about women. But this time it's going to go as an omnibus. So combined with the CDF bill, we are hopeful. It's almost a sure bet, but we say it's not a sure bet until you have it in your hands.
Yes.
But this one has high chances of passing. Also, the issue about patriarchy. At the end of the day, people in Kenya being a very highly cultural community, leadership hasn't been seen something for women, and that's why among you find leaders that we've chosen that go to parliament still. There are most who think that women still shouldn't be in places of leadership and decision-making spaces. So that's another reason why it has always been elusive for us. And also the political goodwill. Mm-hmm. I've never seen a president who's so keen about achieving to that gender role as our President Samuel William Ruto. And for him, I was lucky to be invited at the breakfast meeting in Kempinski that when they were launching the multi-agency working group. And all the leadership of parliament was present, something I've never seen. From the speaker to people like the Honorable Gladys Boss-Sholei to Honorable Kaluma, every leader in parliament who holds leadership at parliament level was there. Even the Attorney General was there, Justin Muturi, Honorable. So this time round, the president is keen about it and he's pushing it himself. So when you see the leadership of the country being keen about it, it means that it has a higher chance to pass.
Let's keep our fingers crossed, because also we know that sometimes we like engaging in so much talk in this country and then little to show of it.
Yes.
Anyway,
very true.
What made you get into politics at such a young and tender age?
I'm actually a former Maendeleo Wanawake representative. I was the youngest. I got that seat, I think, when I was 21.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I was representing Kilimani Ward. That was the area where I studied. I studied at University of Nairobi, and our hostels are on Kilimani area. So I thought, why not run for this seat? I was looking for higher platforms for leadership, and I found a space. And I was glad that I won. I was the treasurer at Kilimani Ward. And when I engaged for 5 years in that seat, I was able to really network with women like Esther Passares, Honorable Rachel Shebesh. And, I moved away even from Nairobi to even go and support, Maito Sabina in Murang'a. So I felt more drawn towards leadership when I led at that level. But okay, it had also its challenges, because leading women when you're younger, they feel like, do you really understand womanhood really and the challenges women go through? But it was a good challenge for me, especially. And I decided to go back home and run for office, because again, in my community, I didn't see the kind of leadership I wanted. And I am a leader myself. And I didn't want to go to become a keyboard warrior and say, we don't have the good leaders. I just said to do something myself for it.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I watched our then MCA rubbish women when they went to get bursaries. He actually went to some checks that he had received. And among them was my sister's bursary. Mm-hmm. And he was bitter that women were applying both at ward level and at county level. And he said, if I'm going to give you a bursary, don't go. You don't have to apply at county level. I won't tolerate that. So I felt like, why would you block people from accessing resources? This is resources that they should access. And these are among the marginalized people in the community. People go to look for bursaries, not because they want to, but because it's a need, it's a basic need for them. So I felt I am a leader who leads with empathy. And I felt that he wasn't empathetic. And I decided to run for office. And that is a place I grew up from. So I thought it should be easy.
So tell us how your experience was, both the challenging part, that is also we want to hear the positive, because we don't want the narrative that everything is negative, and also which are some of the negative things that you went through. Again, still emphasizing on the fact that you're extremely young, and also you're a woman coming from a country, as you said, very patriarchal, and a patriarchal society is literally a violent society.
I think it's an interesting question, because many times we don't even speak about the positives about running for office, despite even not being successful. And among the things that I found very positive was the growth of my my career, especially as a leader. And I remember there was this time I had asked to meet some citizens of my wards on my lower area. And I was pretty popular on the upper area of my ward. So I also wanted to meet the lower area of the ward. And I thought about 100 people will show up. So I think my resources were around 100 people. So when I reached there, I met about 700 to 800 people.
Wow.
And I panicked for a minute, and I asked one of my team, who are they waiting for? And he said, they're waiting for you. They want to meet you. They've heard so much about you. And for a minute, I really honestly panicked. But I remember one of my teammates told me, you just speak like it's a rally. I was really prepared for a very intimate conversation, but I said, you just handle it as a rally, because now this is a rally. It's no longer an intimate engagement. And I did. So even your public speaking skills really grow. They really do. For a minute, as a woman, when you're doing campaigns, for a minute, sometimes you doubt yourself and wonder, how should I speak? Do I speak like a male politician, or do I speak just as a female politician, just as how I speak? So in terms of public speaking skills, you really grow and know how to speak, keeping your authenticity with you instead of copying people. I also found that it helps you connect with the world as well. I remember my digital media was really well done. Let me say, because maybe I'm a communications expert, so I really knew how to handle digital media, but it also came with a lot of trolling, and it took me to dark places in my mind. Depression really set in.
Oh, no.
And especially if you are a serious candidate, then that means that you attract more stones thrown towards you. So I remember I had a really big platform on Facebook. I had about 17,000 followers, and I was hacked just to be silenced. Mm-hmm. And I remember every time, maybe when I'm on the ground, you really don't handle your phone. But in the evening, when I'll come to check, you'll find alerts from Facebook. Somebody had tried to access your account. Every time, and I kept changing my password just to secure my account. But sadly, they did it at last. But I also connected with the world in terms of media. I remember I did an interview with BBC Africa, and it was speaking about women in politics as well. And I remember I was in the same documentary on Honorable Martha Karua. We were 5 women. And you see, this is another way of just connecting with higher women in our community. I was interviewed by the New York Times. I was interviewed by Finnish Broadcasting Network. It keeps broadening your horizons, and in terms of people even getting to know you. So you're vying in this small world, but you've really expanded. Now internationally, people get to know you, get to know your story, get to know why you are fighting for this, and you get to speak about why women leadership is so pertinent. And above all, you are challenging the norms that the society has held on. They've held on for so long. And them seeing you being young, being unmarried, and doing it, not even having a baby, and still asking for leadership, they'll be challenged. Like, why is such a young girl asking for such a seat? And they're used to, senior women doing this, men doing this at whatever age sets they're at. So seeing a young woman doing this, it gets to challenge the norms and stereotypes they've always had within themselves. And at best, it also encourages fathers and mothers to encourage their daughters. That,
so you become an example.
See, this girl is doing it, so you should know that nothing really can't be achieved. So it helps, brave the road of politics for women. And when we look at negative consequences, among them was now the online trolling.
I want to come to that online trolling thing. How did you handle online trolling, cyber violence? That's our major focus here at Digital Dada Podcast, because we want to encourage healthy conversations online. We want to we are fighting for a feminist internet.
Yes.
An internet where women can be heard without people coming against you just because you're a woman. Because we know the most who are attacked are people like you, people with voices online. So how do you go about handling the cyber violence?
So, a lot of people said, 2022, we didn't experience any violence, but there was violence. Violence wasn't physical, but it went online.
Yeah.
And it was really targeted towards women candidates. And for me, it's sad to say but at this point in my life, I'm used to being trolled. Like getting on social media and finding myself being called names or being made a meme or a caricature. It's no longer shocking because it's at its peak. And what I did, like for example, for me, I used to trend a lot in village WhatsApp groups. The WhatsApp groups that are created at community level, at constituency level, and county level. And I remember there was a time at ward level, I'll trend nonstop even for 3, 4, 5 days. And the discussion is just you. And there's nothing positive being said. And you find that your opponents have hired bloggers to just taint your name throughout the day. And they will say despicable things about you. They'll sexualize you at best and objectify you. And it was sad because it's not just me seeing this. It's my sisters, my siblings, my mom, who are seeing the words that are being thrown at me. And then I became really obsessed with knowing what people are saying and reading. Yes.
We discourage.
Yeah. So I kept reading what people are saying, and this was even harmed me more. And with time, I realized I wasn't even sleeping. I lost sleep and my anxiety became even worse.
All-time.
Yes. So it became at an all-time high and my panic attacks even got more and more. So I remember one of my head bloggers told me, okay, you need to withdraw from this space. I will handle it. I will lead the team. We'll take care of whatever happens in this space because you're going into a dark hole. So I withdrew from all WhatsApp groups. I left actually. So I left all of them. And people were like, why has she left the groups? You see, she can't even handle pressure. She can't handle the truth, what's being said about her. So in that way, even leaving groups, I lost some votes. Because now people were convinced that, you see, she can't handle pressure. Why is she leaving? She should stay. So one of the ways I tried to protect myself is to exit from places that really did not put me in a good light. Places that really took me into a dark hole. And that's one of the ways I handled it. And then I left my bloggers to handle it. Did I know the people who are doing this? Yes, I knew them by name. But did I go to report them to the police stations? I couldn't.
Why?
Because when I go to report them, their mothers will be the first people to say in the community, you see, she's even reporting our sons. And now they're held. What kind of leader is this that will deny me to see my son every day? So you get to choose, what do I want? Do I want votes? Or do I want to report this guy? Do I want justice?
Did you document because you can do it after the voting anyway. Yes. Did you document it?
I do talk about it. I do talk about this.
But documenting, like taking screenshots and,
Yes.
Because as you said, yours is quite different. A lot of people sometimes use pseudo accounts.
Yes.
Yours, you actually know who are these people who are harassing you.
Yes.
Did you try to document? And then after the election, because it's still evidence.
No, I did not. I actually do not. In fact, I deleted all those screenshots because you see them, you want to read. And then it just opens up those wounds. So I decided just to walk away from it. These are the same people who call me today and ask for help. And you say, they'll tell you, that's politics, but it's not.
No, because when you say that, we are normalizing the issue of cyber violence.
Yes.
And it is a no. It's not politics. You harassing me and abusing me. You see now, luckily, there are some people who actually quit the campaign because of cyber violence. You're saying actually depression almost set in. So normalizing it and saying it's politics, that's what we do. Ni siasa. Now you're crossing the boundaries. And that's why we need women leaders like you to talk about cyber violence. Whenever you can make policies that can help to protect women online, and especially young women like you, whose bandwidth is not, like maybe if they attack somebody who's been in that the space for the longest time, it's not the same as you. some people have chickened out. Chickened out is not the right word. They have just decided to withdraw because of such things. But how did the violence affect your campaign?
The violence escalated also because it also became physical.
It left online.
Yes.
Offline,
It also went offline. And I remember that engagement that I had where I met about 700 to 800 people. I remember when I walked in, I noticed about 7 to 8 young men with crude weapons. And I looked at them and I thought, wanaka wametoka mjengo job, the hustle, people from building homes. And I don't know why I looked at them a second time, and I just thought, okay, they're just here to hear and listen to me. I remember after speaking, my team quickly removed me away because it was a really bigger crowd that we had anticipated. So my security team wasn't as big. I had just 3 people with me. And I remember my head of campaign called me and told me, but do you know those guys had been sent to harm you? And when they arrived, they realized, we were sent to harm Wanjiko Thega. We can't harm her. She's one of us. She's a young person like us. So I am so grateful that those young people at that moment decided to withdraw.
Yeah.
Because what will have happened to me? It even turns sexual. You find when you're walking, speaking to people forcefully kiss you. I was kissed twice. And I say this, and people laugh about it. People laugh where you're there and you're wondering, what's funny? Body autonomy for women, it's still not there. People feel like they own you.
Yeah.
People touch you, caress you all the time, and you have to find a way of politely, honestly saying no.
Have you ever taken karate classes? Well, that's a story for another.
Yeah, and that's another thing where women have to also know how to defend themselves.
Yes.
Because you increase security, but that comes at a cost.
It's true. Yeah.
So the cost of campaigns in Kenya are really, really high. But with women, they spend even more.
Because,
because the security has to be higher. I don't hear men speaking about being sexually harassed by women.
I don't think they're ever even.
But women, that's the first thing men think.
I'm sorry about that. So you are a communication guru.
Yes.
Give us a snippet of your digital strategy, how you use the digital platform. Because you're also targeting young people like you. Yes.
So among them was to go live. I would go live when I'm on ground and people will see and engage me and they'll just come in and say, hi, Mheshimiwa, I'm so-and-so from this area. I'm happy to see you. Please come to this area as well. So I'll get a lot of invites from people who will come on live. And actually, they're real engagements. And I'll say, just inbox me your number. And when we call them, they're saying, I'm in this area. And when we go, they're really on the ground and they help us connect with more people from my ward. So going live helped me a lot. And it's one of the mechanisms I used. I also used to have very aesthetically pleasing posters. And among the things about my posters is people will look at me and they ask me, what is this girl? Which position is she running for? Is she running for women rep? Because there's a way I had really placed, there's a really good way that I'd asked my graphics designer.
And that is one thing people don't know. People love pleasing content.
Yes,
you
they
just
really
go and
do
make
love
a poster there. Make something that will attract me.
Yes, people when they see, they just even get to know you. And then I also had a very good team of bloggers. And I had even told them, we are not abusing anyone. That's not the kind of strategy you're going to use. Our work is to do political education. Let us teach people the kind of job I'm coming to do and how I'm going to use it. So my bloggers were different. They were not always hurling insults. They were doing their work differently. So even people knew this is a different kind of leader. It's not the usual we need. I remember reading a comment from someone else and he said, this girl and her team, they speak differently. In fact, they even overqualified. They shouldn't even do the word politics. So using digital media in a different way, it really helped. And then I did a lot of short videos as well, just to connect with people and share them out so that even if you've never met at any point in time,
be shared on WhatsApp.
You will always hear me
I hope people are listening
speak.
about how powerful the digital platform is.
It really is. And we went to all platforms. We went to Twitter, went to Facebook, we went to Instagram and WhatsApp groups. We did all of those, and Facebook groups. They're very powerful because if they are, you use Facebook groups in your community, your constituency level. They are so powerful because a lot of people are on those platforms as well. And then I did a lot of media as well. So once I'll finish my interview, maybe for example on Citizen, I'll share that link there. And if I'm going online, or I'll go live or I'll go on TV, I'll share it on social media, and it will really grow. It will really go out to a lot of people because I'll let my team to sambaza it to all places that we have, all digital spaces that we existed. And it helped. And above all, my party, when you talk to your party in case of anything, like when I was being trolled online, I just told my party, so-and-so is trolling me. And they called him immediately and told him, you need to lay off. And one of the bloggers actually immediately laid off. So also using party mechanisms to support you digitally help.
Wow.
Yes.
So now, like when you look at the things you did, what would you do differently? What is the one thing that you learned, hard lesson you learned that you do differently?
I think I would access resources early. Start looking for resources early. Mm-hmm. Politics in Kenya is expensive. I think I've said that before, but it's true.
In fact, it's among the most expensive in Africa, if not the most expensive.
It is actually. So having resources early is very important. Having experienced politicians at like I can call you and you pick up because things change so fast in politics, and sometimes something you had planned to do, you have to pull back and do something different. So having to be able to call someone and give you guidance on what exactly to do and how to execute is so important as well, because I felt at some point I'll just do something just to test because I'm not so sure. So I'm feeling like it's a risky move, but you have no one else to call. You have no one to really call and consult with. So getting a mentor who's an experienced leader was important. And also, what I'll do differently is go with a party with the ruling or with the leading presidential candidate. It's easier because, to be honest, people still don't vote individuals.
They vote for parties.
How
sad.
It's
Don't
so
you
sad.
think it's a narrative that we need to change? Because you'll find joyriders who have been given this party ticket who will do nothing for the people. Find people like you whose people's agenda is at the heart. And they can't get the party ticket.
Yes.
So I feel like we should be trying to kill that story, not the other way around.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would also what are some of the recommendations that you would give after your experience? What would you want to see things done differently?
What I want to see done differently is parties strengthening the place of women. Again, because people vote in parties should really award merited women the tickets to the ballot, because merited women exist. I exist. A lot of women exist who have the ground. But if the party doesn't give you the ticket, then that's how you lose. So at nomination level as well, let's reduce the violence that is seen for women. Violence can also even be emotional. I remember myself was rushed to hospital at 3 a.m. So it's not only physical, it's also emotional violence. Because the violence that you're meted through, you find even women are being asked for exorbitant amount of money just to be given the tickets. So having party leaders who are honestly there for women, it will take us further. And then having also the money that is given to political parties, most of it go to male candidates.
Oh.
Yes. So can women also access this money?
And what can women do to access this money? What can they fight that how can they fight that injustice?
And in fact, I think it even goes to transparency at political party level. When the money comes, sometimes you are not even aware. So you just hear things later on. So if we access leadership position in parties, you will know when such moves are being made. If money is coming in, you will know. So if you know, then you're able to alert other women that this is happening. So come make noise or ask the party leader for your cut, because I understand if you get 3,000 votes and above, there's an amount you can access.
You are supposed to access.
Yes, so just also empowering with women with such kind of information, because some don't even know. And we have women even at mashinani level running for office, but again, access to information is
now that's why we're
limited.
having such conversations, because after this, we would like them to know exactly what is there for them, so that they can know the resources that are available.
Yes.
So your final parting shot, what would it be?
My final parting shot. Please take the step. I know there's a lot of fear, especially as a woman, to run for office, but you just have to give it a shot. You never know. There are many women who got it in the first shot, and you can be among the women who did. And if you did not get it at the first shot, please persist. You can get it even the second shot or third. I mean,
yes, that's
because let me tell you, leadership is inborn. I remember I used to wake up and say, I won't do this. And then I find myself on the ground still doing it. So if leadership is within you, please, we need more women at leadership spaces. Right now we're at 23%. Please come out. We have to raise the numbers.
Thank you. Yeah. If we are to meet the two-third gender rule, and I'm going to hold you accountable, because now I know somebody who is that committee. We need to bring this vision to life.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being our guest. Thank you so much for oozing so much wisdom and knowledge. And we look forward to having this conversation even after this.
Yes. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Again, this episode has been made possible by partnership with Siasa Place. Siasa Place promotes the people's participation in democratic processes through research, trainings, civic education, networking, and strategic partnership. Asante sana, and see you on the next episode.